everybody. Russ and my Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. That's very, very important at the moment. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon. And also, time's going to be, we know time's going to be a bit tougher than, coming up next few months. There's a lot of people worse off than us. And so we're still doing our charity drive for the Newham Food Banks or the Iron Supporting Food Banks group. So if you've got any spare cash, then donate to justgiving.com/crowdfunding/Iron Supporting Food Banks. But it's all on Twitter anyway. But, anything we can do now because times are going to be tougher, particularly for the Iron Supporting Food Banks guys, because a lot of their stuff they do, the buckets during the games, and obviously we're not gonna have anyone until gone Christmas at least. So if we could do to help out, would be great. Today's guest. Now we've had Will, we had Jim, we had James, and so it's the third pillar of the We Are West Ham podcast. It's taken a while, but we've got there eventually. It's Mr. Tom Edwards. Hi Tom, how you doing, man?
Very good, thanks, mate. You should have said saving the best till last. That was my game plan all along.
Yeah,
yeah. I had too much thinking to do. Too much thinking, mate. I've had to put it off. Just got to think about it too much.
That's what I mean. It's too important. It's a too important opportunity to put your 11 together. But anyway, how are you, man? You've been busy, I know.
Yeah, all good, thank you, mate. Yeah, busy with the podcast. That's picking up this year. We're trying to do a bit more on all the socials and everything. So been doing that. Job, all stuff like that, trying to get as much freelance work as I can at the minute, but everyone, same as everyone, it's a bit tough out here, so you just got to take what you're given. But all good, mate, can't complain. I'm all healthy, my fam's all right, so no complaints on my end, except still big egg next to West Ham's name in the points tally. That's the only issue.
It is, but we seem to be, we do better not playing because, we go up more places when we don't seem to play football. It makes no sense. We're like, woo, 16th, and how? But yeah, no, it's but hopefully, I mean, you imagine with the cup games, and obviously, you would think it'd bring some momentum. Obviously, the Arsenal game was good, wasn't it? I mean, it was better. Obviously, we still lost.
Yeah, sure.
We still lost, but it was better, and it was. It had parallels of just before we went into lockdown, wasn't it? Because we had that Arsenal game, the Liverpool game, where we should have got something, and then it kicked in. Yeah. I fancy us now against Wolves. I do. I don't know why. It makes no logical sense, but I do fancy us against Wolves on Sunday now.
Yeah, same. I actually doing this bet we do for our podcast. We raise money in my bet this weekend, West Ham to win. I'm with you. I thought there was a lot of positive against Arsenal. It was literally Jekyll and Hyde going from Newcastle, where we looked like a team who had no hope whatsoever in the division, to a team against Arsenal who really hurt them. We looked really good going forward. We created so many chances. I thought the front three. Bowen in particular, he gets in so many good positions. I'm just crying out for him to just take a cool head like he was at Hull and just put one away, because I think when the next one comes, he'll start picking up and hit some form, because he gets in so many good positions. And I think the big difference for us is we're just struggling to put the chances we get away. And I think as soon as that starts happening, there's no reason why we can't hit a bit of good form and start putting some results together, because we can beat anyone. We've shown that.
We can, and that's the thing, we can. I mean, it's again, there's a lot of parallels to the whole sort of when we restarted as well. We played Wolves and we looked like a team that hadn't played together for years, and then the Tottenham game we played a bit better, and then came Chelsea, and so and I can see the wheels turning a little bit. I really can, and I think the Carabao Cup stuff is giving some. I mean, that Charlton, not the Charlton game, the whole game. That's probably the best football I've seen us play for ages.
Yeah,
it was liquid at times.
Yeah,
I know it was against Hull, but still doesn't matter. And I think, and I like, and I just think with some of the youngsters as well. I mean, the right back was brilliant. I just thought he was fantastic.
He was, wasn't he?
Really
he was
good.
Brilliant. He's really technical as well. Surprised I hadn't heard much about him. Usually I hear about.
Either.
Oh yeah, usually you tend to hear about these academy blokes that are coming through and they look sharp, like Les we've heard a bit about for years. Baptiste obviously played in the friendlies, Coventry, but he sort of sprung out of nowhere and he looked so good yesterday. So technical on the ball. He looked like he didn't mind the challenge. Good one-on-one, good pace. I think he's one I'm definitely gonna keep my eye out on. I think he's got called up to Scotland under-21s this week today as well. So
wow.
Yeah, so
because he was a Chelsea boy, weren't he? And and he signed obviously pro with us, and there was a number of clubs after him as well. So, but I know it. But I mean, you get it. I mean, as well as anyone else. when a player when he comes on, he just came on. He just seemed to be a good player. It just the way he held himself. I mean, even when he came for those 5 minutes against Charlton, you could see his intent is to bomb forward and and he's got a great touch on him. And he didn't.
And he's dynamic, isn't he?
Yes,
he's quite
really
strong,
dynamic.
quick, he's well built. I'd like to see a few more of these youngsters get a go, particularly whilst it looks like we may not sign anyone. I think there's no reason why we can't expect one or two to come out of nowhere and maybe do what Ngakia did. I know sadly he's not there anymore, but just spring in and make a difference to the team immediately. Clearly got a good academy side.
Yeah, no, we do. I mean, we do it. You know, even 18s. I mean, you know, Kevin King, and he was like, "Yeah, we've got some great players at the 18s as well." And I think it's not a case of I think it's a case of we need to as well because we don't know as we know what's happened during that the preparation to the whole game. Moment's notice. I mean, that was more impressive for me was his performance, was the fact that he was on the bench and he wasn't intent. So you'd imagine. And I think Gonzo did a video about it the other day. He wasn't intended to play, so he wasn't probably involved in all this. He was on the opposition side, and then he's like, right, okay, you're playing right back, and off you go. And he's like, but he just went with it. And a moment's notice, we know that people can get contract it, and they're off and. Exactly. We need the backup players to be playing, and it was nice to see a few of the youngsters playing, and long may it continue. Because I think again, it's one of those things with West Ham. The youngsters, they're going to put a shift in because they want to impress, and they might want to go to another club eventually. But that's the West Ham way. They will want to go. But it just makes it's just great to see, and I think it's encouraging. And I think that's what everyone came out that whole game with was. An encouraging sign, and and poor Mr. Moyes can't do it for 10 days now, bless him. But it reminds me of when we had Avram Grant as our manager, and it was over Yom Kippur, and he couldn't attend the Stoke City
away. Yeah, you're right. 1-1.
And he was in a hotel in Stoke, and. The video guy we worked with, a guy called Lloyd, he was the go-between. So he was on the phone. He was with Grant, and he was on the phone relaying because obviously as part of the culture, you can't do any work, and so he wasn't doing any work. He was making suggestions. They found a way. They got the rabbi in to make sure it was okay as well. But he was like, and it was. I can imagine that's going to happen now, and it's going to be like. That's a comedy series already, FaceTime.
Moyes Irvine on the FaceTime all game.
FaceTime. What? You're upside down. What? I've got a call coming through. What? Oh, it's a Domino's free offer. Yeah, Domino's offered me 20. Yeah, so it's going to be quite funny. I'm sure Canning Town Len he's going to do a little video about that soon. If not, I might text him. It might help. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. We're still in the Premier League, and the boys did the business last season, and we'll see what happens, innit?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. There's a long way to go. There's a lot of winnable games, not in the next 5 or 6, but over the course of the season.
But West Ham, they may be. That's the thing. Everyone wrote off because even Sinks was on a Talk Sport today saying, "Oh, we're not going to get the first." Realistically, you're not going to get a first point till November. But actually, Trev, you know more than anyone that. Arsenal, Tottenham, these are the games that West Ham turn up at. If we had 7 games and we played like Sheffield United, West Brom, Leeds, Southampton, I wouldn't fancy us in most of those games.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we come out worse than we went this time.
We don't turn up.
No, we don't. We don't. This season, I'm with you. I've got a feeling that against Arsenal was the best performance we'd had, obviously, for a long time. And United at the back end of last season. So we play well against the big side. There's always the West Ham way, you're right. And
we do.
It's the Wolves and Leicester games I'm a bit worried about because they're the type of teams who turn us over with very little effort.
But then I think, and this will go out before the Wolves game anyway, so we don't look stupid. The first half, particularly a City game, Wolves looked a bit all over the place, to be honest. And I think then they sort of got into the groove a little bit. But then they just spent 37 million on a right back today.
Of course they have, isn't it?
And obviously Gareth Bale's first game potentially is against West Ham.
He'll get at least 2, yeah.
So it's the West Ham way, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
West Ham way. Anyway, he says 9 minutes into the interview, the first question. Why is West Ham your club, Tom? Why are you a West Ham fan?
Oh, it's a good one, that, mate. Actually, a weird one. My old man was sadly lived in Manchester before, and he moved down here when I was very young. He was a Glory Hunting United fan. Was
Yeah.
there when they won the '65 European Cup, whenever it was, and he was he mad into his football. He wanted me to be a football fan, and his best mate, huge West Ham fan, and he started taking me from the age of 3 because he wanted me to go watch live football. Old man put me up to season tickets, so I ended up that way. Mum helped me get into it. She was from London. She's from this area, so yeah, mate, just one of them ones. And I actually, well, I wish he didn't. I wish I was a United fan and won titles, but no, I wouldn't change it for the world. And it's definitely made me love it forever. Like, it's a big thing to be able to go watch it live, and I think that was a really good thing he did.
Cool.
Yeah, it was good.
That's really cool that he didn't sort of like impose the well, not was it if it
I
was
know
West
what you
Ham,
mean.
oppose the
Yeah.
so you have to we've had people on here before who have said that I said what about your kids? No, they want to be West Ham. One of them said at 9 they wanted to be a Liverpool fan, and I said okay, well where are you moving to? And stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like,
Cool.
and I mean, like my daughter, bless her, she ain't got a chance, but she's only 8. She doesn't know any different.
Yeah, my kids won't have a chance, mate. I'll make sure they'll be in West Ham bibs. They'll be head to toe.
Oh, exactly. Oh, yeah. My daughter was 3 days old. She was in the playoff trophy.
Of course you was.
So she never she had a chance. But but it's character building. I think it's character building, Tom. You know what I mean? It's like yes, Man United. Won the Ferguson years and obviously Pep and Klopp and you can turn over teams 4-0 every week, but you just then you just assume in life you're going to get everything that comes to you. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Whereas we fight hard for those 3-2 victories against Chelsea.
Yeah, the best, mate. That's what you live for. And they're going up north for a stinky 1-0 win away at Stoke, Mark Noble pen, something like that. They mean a lot. They're the absolute pinnacle of your weekend, of your month, when you're up there and you see a game like that with your best mates around you, and it means a lot. So, mate, like I say, wouldn't change it for the world. Any success we do have in the future will mean 10 times more than anything they've had. So
yeah, that is totally true. But like you said, if the success not the when. But yes, there's always that if. When your war chant song is about things fading and dying, you've already set yourself up for a fall. But
you really are.
Yeah, but that's been a West Ham fan, and I think that's why we're such a unique bunch of fans. I really do. And doing the podcast, you talk to fans from other clubs as well. But for this, I get messages from Tottenham fans, Arsenal fans, all saying, we love, I know it's not my club, but we watch it because you guys are just so different. You just have this. And it's true, if we put it on paper, why are we a West Ham fan? We haven't won bugger all for how many years? We always moan about everything, about the stadiums, or we moan about the owners or whatever, or the players we bought. But still, the next game, when we
everyone's there.
60,000, that's the same as me. I'll get home on a Saturday night and I'll be pissed off. My wife and daughter know we've lost because I'm not happy. I'll delete series link off the Sky queue. Match of the day.
Yeah, cool.
Do you want to refresh the day? Just no, okay.
Not today.
And then like Sunday, I won't buy the news of the world. God, the Sun on Sunday because I want to read the report. Monday morning, right? Okay, we got the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, mate. You're already ready to go, and you're already thinking in your head. You convince yourself on the Monday, no chance this weekend. By Thursday, Friday, you're thinking who's scoring 2 or 3 win West Ham today.
I got a chance. Yeah, got a chance. And obviously now, guy, with your Betway bet, you got a sort of, you've got a reason for doing it.
I'm attached to it now. Yeah,
you are attached to it. So, who are you? Who's your charity?
My charity is Isla's Fight. So I fight for it. And very lucky to be helping out whatever little way I can, and hopefully actually get a few big winners in and make Betway pay out and owe him some money, because what a cause. All 3 of us are representing good West Ham causes, so it's a good thing. We're lucky and excited for that this season, mate.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's really cool. It's nice to do something. It sounds really corny, but it's nice to do something for charity, because it's like it just makes something where you feel what you're doing, particularly you guys, what you feel you're doing when you're doing the podcast can make actually a difference, rather than 3 blokes or 2 blokes here just chatting about football. Actually, it can make some money for someone who's less worth.
Exactly, mate.
And that's awesome, man. Right. Do you remember your first game at Upton Park?
I do remember it. It was 2001-2 season. It was We won 2-1 against Bolton. Steve Lomas and Ian Pearce, I think, in the last minute header.
Massive fan.
And Ricketts scored for them. I went. My uncle, obviously, saying my dad was from up north. He was a Bolton fan, and he was in the Bolton end. I was in the West Ham end. I was in the programme. I had one of the pictures of me in the hat and everything. That favourite player. Do you remember that little section? Yeah, mate. I remember it so well somehow. But at least we won that day, so that's maybe jinxed me into it and gave me the run what West Ham would be about.
Yeah, it's all going to be these 2-1 victories over Bolton. Yeah, I was thinking about the other day actually my first game. So I remember my first game very well. And then I remember for a period, for some reason, I thought it was a really good idea to wear like I wore this stupid hat, which was like a 2 foot tall hat. I can't. It's a bit like a. You know, like those sort of Uncle Sam videos, you know, Your Country Needs You, and those stupid. I had one of them, and it was like a claret and blue one with like West Ham, like really crudely like printed on. By the end of the season, it was just like AM, like. But it's like and I just like, and no one ever complained about me wearing this stupid hat.
The bloke behind you is probably happy you couldn't see much of the game.
Well, yeah. To be honest, I was probably doing him a favour. To be fair. But yeah, oh god, yeah, stupid. It's like when you see, like my daughter when we used to go to club shop, she'd always pick up like the hats, and it's like, oh no. But actually, that was me. That was me.
Yeah, of course it was.
Got to find a picture of it now. It's really embarrassing, but yeah, it's. But you're right. You don't forget your first game, and there's no one I've spoken to who have said, oh yeah, I saw my first game, and then didn't bother afterwards. No, once you're in. You're in, aren't you? Once you see that time, and it must be nice because obviously you know, as you said, with your uncle and stuff like that, and you know your mum coming from that area. It's more about the fact, and as you said, also like going with your mates when you're older, and when you can go with your mates, don't have to go with your parents. And it's the first time you can swear properly and go away to away trips. That's what I think. I think, you know, if one thing comes out of all this, it's how much football needs fans. You know, it's become so full of money and stuff that, you know, I think the fans are the people who always get, you know, people don't think of the last thing on the agenda is what the fans think. But I just think people, you know, it's true. I mean, are you a crowd noise on or off person with the music?
I tend to be on. I just feel like I need some form of atmosphere. When I flick over and I was watching, I think it was Villa, Sheffield United, was it? And I was watching, and it was just a dead boring game with no noise. And I thought, why is this even worse than usual? And it was just no noise. I'm a big foot. I watch any game. I love it. But I just couldn't get into the game. I couldn't really sit there and concentrate on my phone. But when you put noise on something, at least there's a little bit of life to it. And it's just a shame that there's no real fans in there, because I miss it. I miss going on the Saturdays, as we all do. But soon enough we'll be back there. And
it's something you can tell your grandkids about.
It's true. It's true. It's a story, at least. Yeah,
it is. It is a story. But I know what you mean. It's like when I'm at the ground, I miss it so. I miss because I can't hear anything usually because but I can hear rumblings. I know when it's loud because my floor vibrates because it's all made of steel. My box is all made of steel, so it vibrates really badly. Which is why they never used it at the Olympics, because they built this massive steel thing for the Olympics, and then they realised when they had 80,000 fans in there that it wobbled so much they couldn't get the camera on those. So it's like 60, 70 grand worth of steel there. Anyway, we digress. And so I miss it so much that I have to put on one of the YouTube watch-alongs.
Really?
Just to have a bit of something, and then because obviously I'm there and I'm about 3 minutes in front of everyone else. So I'll be like, say, go! And they'll be like, what? Yeah. Oh, Russ has fucking scored it again. Thanks, Russ. Yeah. Thanks, cheers, Russ. Okay, but for who? Okay, yeah, but I do miss it. I do miss it a lot. I just think it's nice because I look there and you can just see like a sea of fans, and you just see how intent they look at the game. Yeah, and it's just it's sad that we're not there.
It's a big part of culture. It's a big part of
huge, isn't it?
But West Ham's like a family club. It's East London. You tend to be from the area, have some connection to the area or community club, and it's just so it means a lot for a lot of people, and it's a shame that we can't be going as it is for every football fan. But just can't wait, mate, to be stuck in there and hurling a bit of abuse to the West Ham players, I'm sure, after a 3-0 loss at home. But you wouldn't change it.
No, you wouldn't. And actually, I think, to be honest, in some ways, it's probably benefited a lot of the players because they haven't had 60,000 people booing them. You know, it's like, where you
moaning every touch.
Yeah, or they done them, and it's like, shit. And
Exactly.
then like next second, like they're already tense, whereas they're a bit more relaxed. And
Yeah.
you got that the other day, that's for sure. Anyway, let's move on to 11
Come on,
because
then.
because it's basically to remove this fourth wall. Tom's a bit of a wheeler dealer. He's sort of a redknapp sort of esque type manager. Even last minute he was trying those last minute deals. So that
See what I can
proper,
do.
I mean, not obviously proper Jim White moment, but Jim White when he was at Sky Sports, not Talk Sport Jim White. The last minute deals, can they happen? And so Tom's been putting his 11 together. So the only rule is that you have to be alive to have seen them play. That's the only rule. So formations, whatever you want, it's all cool. So. And it can be and it's whoever you want to pick. It doesn't have to be the best players, your favourite players, worst players, whatever. Let's start off in goal, because that's probably the easiest. I would hope.
Yeah, in goal for me was pretty. I think it's the most straightforward one. Rob Green. I think he had to go for me in my lifetime. I think he's just, but the Great Escape season, he was phenomenal. He saved brilliant save in the playoff final at 0-0 to keep Matt Phillips out. He was a good keeper for us. Said a lot of time, England keeper. I think his career's tarnished by obviously that mistake in the World Cup. But he was a great
funny,
keeper.
innit? One mistake.
Yeah, it's a shame. Goalies are the worst, isn't it? You make a mistake, you cost your team a game, and that's it. Your confidence, but having no confidence to keep as well must be horrible. But he was brilliant. On his day, he was one of the best shot stoppers I think in the league.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it was interesting as well because we interviewed Jimmy Walker the other day, and he was talking about goalkeepers. Obviously, he was around during Greeno, and he went, and he actually picked him for his team. And I should probably say that because that's going to come out after your. It doesn't matter. Anyway, a spoiler alert. Like everyone gives a shit. Like everyone gives a shit. But basically, he was saying that that obviously at the time, him and Roy Carroll was by far a better goalkeeper technically, but Greeno was just like a model professional and would literally train. Like they would be off, they'd be Carroll and Walker would be off after training, going into Epping or wherever, enjoying 195 or whatever. Maybe a bit too much by Jimmy's admission. Considering he lived down the road as well,
they played like it as well. They played like it as well. So.
Even worse. When I said, "Where did you live in?" He went, "I lived in Epping." I went, "Oh my god!" Like literally around the corner from 195.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so he said, but Greeno and Ludo would literally be there for like an hour and a half doing one-on-ones, all one-on-ones. And obviously that Arsenal game that everyone talks about where he had so many one-on-ones was the Friday that he was training for 2 hours before, after doing these one-on-ones.
There's no coincidence with things like that. Those games and the big games against the top, even the United game, just brilliant. Just really was a top keeper on his day. I loved him.
But it's something about West Ham goalkeepers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, it is where, it was like Ludo. Ludo was like, I mean, my granddad used to call him Loopy Ludo. He had his faults, Ludo, but he would have a worldie. It'd always be against Man United. And you think, fuck, why can't he? And it's like the same as West Ham in general, the whole team. Why can't they do this? Why can't they be the team that beats Chelsea every week? And it just... But we don't know when it's going to turn up. We know that team will turn up 3 or 4 times a season.
Exactly.
That's why you have to watch each game, because you don't know.
Every minute as well.
Like Norwich last year. We never beat Norwich at Carrow Row. And then we turned them over 4-0. Like they were just like, National
Animals.
League.
They came flying out the gates that week as well.
Oh, it was mental. So much so that, the AI crowd booed them off the pitch at half time.
That was brilliant, that.
Which is like, you're not performing well if you get...
day.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Right, anyway, Greeno's in goal. Yeah. You go for the team as you want, Tom, in the...
I'll go left back. I'll go left back now, which was Konchesky. I picked Paul Konchesky, obviously, because of fond memories. I was at the Cup final. He was a big part of that team, obviously scored in that game. It was quite close on this because him and Cresswell, I think if Cresswell's form was a bit better recently, in my lifetime, you would probably have had a decent shout at being in there, particularly for the 15-16 year, because he was brilliant. That was my favourite season. So his form last few years probably let him down, but Konchesky, I'm quite happy with him.
Yeah, top bloke.
Great player, great left foot.
Yeah, lovely bloke. And it was a cross.
Yeah, it was it? Of course it was. Yeah.
Literally, he's like, I went, come on, right.
Yeah.
He went, I know you're going to ask me. Was it a cross? And he went, do you know what, Russ? He's like, if I If I'd done it like now, I would say it's a goal, because nowadays people score the most incredible
Yeah.
goals now. I mean, you think that? I mean, you're probably going to pick him, but like Payet free kick,
Yeah.
they're unbelievable. Anyway, it was meant to be a cross. I was like, that's it. You know, he's like, bless him. But yeah, top guy, and obviously still involved in the club. You know,
He's a West Ham man as well, isn't he? Was he a fan when he was young?
massive hammer.
Yeah.
Came from Barking, massive
Yeah,
fan.
yeah. All that, yeah.
He was at the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because then he was hoping that West Ham had gone up because he wanted to leave Charlton.
Really?
Yeah. And funny enough, Jimmy Walker was at the previous year's playoffs and wanted to be because
That's
he
their
wanted
way
to.
in.
It was, yeah. That's how you get in. I should have turned up at
exactly.
Wembley with my boots and just jingled them over. I might bring one Sunday. I might get a game now.
May as well, mate. We might need you.
Off for something different in the final third. But yeah, no, top guy. And what was I can't remember what I was going to say, but anyway, yeah, he was West Ham man. But obviously, he looks at the moment. He does obviously. I think he's assistant manager at Billericay, but he looks after all the loans up to the West Ham loans. So like Dan Kemp and people like that.
Yeah,
that's good. And stuff. So it's really cool. And he's
that was cool. I didn't know that.
Absolutely, no, me neither. I knew because he was under. I think he was under 15s coach for a while as well.
Yeah,
but no, top guy. Right, okay. Conchu's in. Who's next, man?
I'll do the centre halves as a pair. I got Winston Reid first and Repka next to him. So they're my two at the back.
Yeah, right.
I think Reid for me is the best centre back I've seen play for us. I know it's not saying much with some of the talent we've had there, but he was brilliant on his first season up. He won Hammer of the Year when we came up under Allardyce. He scored massive goals for us. Millwall, Spurs, last goal at Upton Park. Obviously, he's just he'll always sort of be intertwined with the club. 10 years. He served. I think if his injuries didn't plague him the way he did, I think we'd have been an even better side. Well, not even better. So we've been a much better side over the last 5-6 years because he was so instrumental for us for when he was fit and firing. He's a brilliant centre half. Had it all.
Yeah, he was. I think the best thing that happened for him was us going down. The season after we signed him, because I think when we signed him, obviously we signed him this big fanfare, World Cup defender, and it's like. New Zealand. What? Yeah. Okay, yeah. And he wasn't great. He was okay, but then obviously that championship year, he really,
he's brilliant. Him and Tompkins were great.
Yeah. Also good pairing. But
Tompkins was also. Tompkins had a chance at this, but I did go for Repka. I felt like I had to. He's a massive cult. He was probably one of the first cults I saw growing.
A cult, you said?
Cult figure. Cult.
That's it. I'm demonetised. I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly. Cult figures. Sorry.
Yes.
CULT. But top man by the looks of it. He loved the club, West Ham. He was just a crazy bloke. I just remember watching him fly into a few tackles and just thinking, "Thank God it's not me." And he was he's a big fan of ours. Will Pugh, obviously fellow West Ham pod, is a bit obsessed with him, so I think I have to squeeze him in.
I think James put him in his team as well. I think.
Because
of Will. Yeah, but and someone like Thomas Repka, it's funny. He comes up so often in conversation, and he just for a certain age group of supporters, and that's why I like doing these, like interviewing older fans and younger fans, because like Thomas Repka wouldn't have had so much. Screen time if we'd only interview people who are fans since the 60s and stuff. But yeah, Tommy Repka, and obviously his career, but what he's sort of known for now is even better than when he played football. You know what I mean? He's such a West Ham player. Just what happens afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. It couldn't be more.
Yeah, exactly. Was it? He's done blackmailing his girlfriend.
Yeah, blackmail. He's actually in prison at the minute.
In prison, yeah. Because didn't he buy? He hires cars and he bought them and he sold them and he
writes books. He's been writing books ever since he's been in prison. He keeps selling an autobiography every 6 months. Just keep coming off the gate. Brilliant.
Nutter. Right, okay. Brilliant. Repka's in. Who's
next,
man?
Right back. This was again, we haven't been blessed with too many great ones, but Glenn Johnson, I know it might be a bit of a played 15 times for us in the league, but that was my first year as a season ticket holder, 02-03, and I remember I was just so excited about him, young West Ham guy coming through. Obviously, did we get him? We poached him from another academy when he was younger, or
can't remember. To be
But
honest. I don't think so, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah, either way he came through. He was brilliant up and down the pitch. You could tell he was going to have a great career. He's really technical. He was one of the best right backs in the Premier League for a long, long time, to be fair to him. And yeah, I couldn't think of anyone else I'd actually play ahead of him at right back, really.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, we had like before your time, we had like slightly. So we had it's the Tim Breakers of this world, and we had Julian on the left, and then from then on, fullback's always been a really weird position for us. We've never seemed to have a consistent pair of good fullbacks. It's always one's all right and one's not good,
Yeah.
and vice versa. You would hope with the current crop of youngsters, Johnson on the left and what's his face on the right, would be pretty awesome. To be honest.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Yeah, so I think it's and I'm gonna have to find his name because I keep calling him the person. It's really gonna annoy me now because I know his name and it's completely gone out of my head.
Harrison Ashby, that one.
It was Ashby. That was Ashby.
Yeah,
that's it. I kept calling him the right back, but yeah, Ashby.
He'll take that. The right back's good for him.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, no, yeah, it's just yeah, and I think Glenn. It was unfortunately I had that slight suspicion with Ashby. Now I know I'm going to say it all the time.
Yeah,
it's not like when you know you don't remember someone's name and they go,
it's Tom.
Yes, Tom. Anyway, Tom. The thing about this, with Ashby, I've got it's like with like Glenn Johnson. When Glenn Johnson came on the scene, everyone went, he's brilliant, but how long we got him until he fucks off?
Yeah,
and Ngakia is the same, and because he's so dynamic, he's going to stand out. He's going to stand out.
He stood out from the first. I missed about the first 5 minutes, but the first three things he did were brilliant, and I just thought, bloody hell, we got to play.
This
he's built like a fullback.
This is becoming like an Ashby appreciation episode, but he has a look. He has a look of a good, not just a right back, but like a good right back.
He does.
Do you know what he reminds me of? And some people he reminds me, if people look at Julien Faubert when he first joined us, he looks a little bit like, it might be the way his legs bow out or something. I didn't spend too long looking at Ashby, I promise you, but he has, it's just clicked, he reminds me of a little bit. But anyway, we digress. Glenn Johnson, I agree. And top guy.
And then I'm actually, even though I was giving it a lot of all that I was going to change formation to fit all the players I want, I've stuck with a 4-4-2. So I'll do my two in the middle. So one of them, which is probably one of the easiest, Scott Parker.
Yeah.
Just bloody brilliant. 3-time Hammer of the Year, back to back. What was it? Football Writers Player of the year we went down.
Yeah.
Just some player. It really was. He cared as well. I know obviously we don't want to talk about it, but the move to Tottenham was big shame, but it wasn't. He deserved it. He deserved to be playing top flight. We had a Euro coming up, which he deserved to start in, and he did.
It's the same thing, right? Because it's like, and it really knocks me about Scott Parker's legacy at West Ham has been tarnished. But with the whole thing around Mr. Rice, and everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, he can go. Good luck to the lad.
Yeah.
What the fuck's the difference with Scott Parker? You know what I mean? It's like, if Tottenham went and paid £80 million for Declan Rice and he goes to Tottenham, people are going to say, oh no, we can't. It's like, fuck's that. It really, I really do get wound up because also, in like the older generation, Martin Peters went to Tottenham from West Ham. Bobby Moore was going to go as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've got a stand named after them, after Bobby, but Scott Parker in our sort of smaller era compared to them, he's, he in terms of giving their all to West Ham, I used to see him literally crawl off the pitch after the game.
You could see he literally hauled us by the scruff of the neck and pulled us through so many important games. That Wigan game when he scored that worldie to basically keep us up with Zola, and he's got that famous picture of him celebrating.
Yeah.
The Avram Grant season when we were an absolute abomination. He's the only reason we even stayed in touching distance until the last 2-3 games, and he was just really was. And I'm lucky enough to meet him actually once or twice, and he's a really top bloke. Like, he really did give a lot of time to people. He kicked a football about with. He just was a lovely bloke. He really was a top man.
You got that, didn't you? You got that sense of it after that interview at the meme that became the streets, and it was absolutely brilliant.
Legend.
But he's just like an old. He's got very much an old school look about him in terms of how he's not. I'd like to see him. I wouldn't mind seeing him at West Ham as a future manager.
For sure.
Think, And but yeah, no, top guy, top guy. Right,
Top
okay.
man.
Scotty P's in.
Scotty
Who's
P's in
next?
this one. I'm still even debating now in my head, but I'm going to go for my heart, which is Noble.
Yeah,
Oh, it was a toss up between him and Carrick in the sense that Carrick is one of the best midfielders I've seen for it's maybe a big statement, one of the best English midfielders the last 20 years potentially.
I
on
agree
the
totally.
And I remember growing up, my dad was a midfielder, whatever. We spoke a lot about him. He was so talented on the ball, and I really loved watching his whole career, the way he played, particularly when he was at United, not Tottenham. But as a player, he'd be in. But Noble is probably my most loved player for the whole time I've been a West Ham fan. He's just the definition of loyalty. He cares so much about the club, and he's also, I think, some of that sentiment by people just calling him a one club man takes away how good he was actually as a player, and still is. He has his moments because he was a top player for a lot of his career.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, actually, people say, one man club, but actually, I look at it as, yeah, he's played 500 games for one club, but he's been under how many managers, and they've all picked him. Do you know what I mean? So I've almost seen it as like 8 managers. It's almost like 8 clubs really, because new manager comes in with their own things. Mark Noble's been a constant in. I mean, for you, he's been a constant in almost every game.
I honestly think every season except the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he's been. He's been in the team or at least been on the bench, and as a youngster, he was so exciting. He was brilliant. He was brilliant young player. But
he's like the modern day equivalent of people who grew up with Bonds and Alvin Martin. For a long period of their career, of their fan career, they would have been ever present, and same as Noble. And what you say about Mark is he's going to put 100% in because he's a fan, and I think that's a huge thing. Particularly, I mean, more than anyone, with players, West Ham players, all fans ask is put it in. 100%. If you put in 100%, if you're not the best player in the world, that ain't your fault.
Yeah,
because that someone's bought you and someone's picked you in that position. But as you try, that's what I mean.
And more often than not, it'll work out. And he's done very well. He's also tops towards. He won off Canio's Premier League record. I know it's not hundreds of goals, but it's still be a great achievement to finish his career as our top Premier League appearance maker and top goal scorer. And it will be.
Yeah. Well, I think because I was doing it the other day for one of our game shows, and we had it was top Premier League goal scorers, like top 10. But I think he was the Canada's 49. I think he's 48, and then I think it's Colton maybe or something like that, and then it's Antonio
Antonio's near the top now. I think he's 37 or something.
Another 10. He could even beat it this season easily. I just think he's brilliant. I love Mark Noble.
Yeah, I love him. You can't not.
No, you can't. And obviously, I'm fortunate enough to be at the games. And that Chelsea game when he wasn't in the team, he was in the squad. He literally was. I was watching him because he's sat there disabled on the seats. That's because they're already socially distanced. They're already at least 2 meters apart to put the wheelchairs in. So he was watching it like a fan, not like a clubman. So I get every ball kicking. And then as soon as the final whistle, he jumped over that barrier and ran down in the tunnel like a little kid would.
Yeah.
To meet his fans. It was just like, and he just thought, you know what? No one's picked that. I was gutted because I should have videoed that because that would have just been. Everyone knows it, but it just shows you. It means it because he knows it's not being picked up or anything on camera. But Super Nobes. He's in, man.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Who's next?
I'll go. So I'm playing obviously two wingers, 2 up front. Yeah. Left wing, I'll go with probably my favourite player as a kid growing up, Matthew Etherington.
Yes.
I was a very left-footed player myself. Played a bit on the wing when I was attempting to be a player, but he's just brilliant when he's rapid.
Yeah. Good
quality balls in. I just remember he's a proper throwback winger, and you don't see anyone like him anymore, really.
Very true. Very true.
And I loved him. I think every shot I had for about the first 10 would have Etherington 11 on the back or whatever it was, and it was some player.
Not like fucking James and Boogers.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
But he's true, and he's I mean, I echo exactly everything he said. I mean, when we interviewed him, I introduced him as the last proper West Ham winger we've had.
Yeah.
Probably not now because Bowen has got that.
Yeah.
But he's just like, old school winger and, loves the club. And everyone you've picked, You know, it's like
I
Cons
think
and
that's a
people
big
like that.
part of it. Yeah, it has to have some relation. I think that's for me, particularly players I like. They've got to have some form of connection to the club, except one man up.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's I just feel like I connect a lot more with people who obviously care about it and sort of represent what West Ham's like and like as people, like as a club and style of football. And Everington was that crash bang wallop. He'd just get the ball, beat his man, whip it in, and no wonder Harewood and Zamora and they tend to score quite a few each season because they had a bloke like him whipping it in.
yeah. Because I mean, and again, it was just such an easy. You know, football can
Mm.
be so easy. You have wingers
Yeah,
on the right foot for their foot, not inverted. That's the one I hate inverted wingers.
yeah.
Just cross it in, and then bin the man, cross it in, and as long as you got someone there, I mean, you see the effect. You know, if you had like nowadays, like you know, with Bowen, it's like take it to the wing, cross it in. If you have
Mm.
Haller there, he's a big enough boy to take it in, and
Yeah,
it's,
Halis Suchek. That's what he's the exact type of player we would need now. You're right with
yeah.
Suchek arriving
With
late. And
Suchek as well. I mean, you know, it's you know perfect.
it
He'd
would
be
be.
awesome. He'd love it. Late break into the box, but
Yeah,
yes, Mr. Effington is in.
he's in. And then on the right, I think it has to be Dimitri Payet.
Yeah,
He's the best player I've ever seen play for
me
us.
too. Yeah.
Probably, luckily, that season I managed to go virtually every game. I think maybe one away game we missed with me and a couple of my pals, and it was honestly just a joy. I've never enjoyed going to watch games more than that. You just always had a chance. You knew something special was going to happen. You had this unbelievable player who was probably, for my money, the best player in the league that season, one of the best players in the world, as he proved at Euros and the Euros that summer. And I just thought it was lucky. It was honestly a bit of an honour going to watch that and having a chance to beat everyone and having probably the star man each week. And it's just such a shame the way it all panned out. But he really was unbelievable.
It was nice having having someone in your team that everyone else wanted.
Exactly.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like when you
Yeah.
know, it's like sometimes you get I really would like Diop or not Diop,
Yeah.
for example, but you know what I mean. Everyone, all of
Loved
my
him.
Tottenham fans
Mm.
were like, I'd love him at West Ham. I'd
He
love him
was
at
so
Tottenham.
good
I'd
to
love it
watch.
there.
He really was, and he was just. You're right. It was just you go and you'd know that you're at Old Trafford, but you know they're just as much. Got fans there excited to see Payet, and we played such an attacking brand of football.
Yeah.
He really was like his performance against Newcastle at home and things like that, days like that. I don't think I've seen many better performances in the Premier League by any player ever, whether West Ham or not. I don't think I've seen many players reach the level he did for us in certain periods of that season, and it's just a shame the way it ended up. But at least we got to see him. At least we had him for a bit.
That's what I mean. It was a privilege to see him, wasn't it? It's a privilege
Yeah.
to see arguably one of the best players in the world at the time play for your club. It were I very much doubt that will ever happen again. But
Yeah, sadly not.
and it's just like you're right. That season, just the stars all aligned, weren't it? You had
Yeah.
the right player, you had the right manager, and him and Payet worked together that season,
Oh, well.
and it's just brilliant. And we wouldn't have had that season without him. And
No.
there's no shadow of a doubt. All right, Dimmy's in. Dimmy's in. Who is next?
So it's the two up top. So I mean, first one would be easy, Di Canio. I think I only watched him right at the back end, obviously, his West Ham career, probably his last year and a half. I managed to catch bits and bobs of it. And obviously had that fallout with Roda, so I didn't see as much as I wish I did know when I look back at his career. But what a man, what a player. You see all the videos come out now of him singing Bubbles, doing the lawnmower and things like that at home. He's just obsessed with the club, obsessed with the fans, and what a player as well. I wish I saw more live, but what I have seen and what I did see was just so talented. It's
Well, there's something. I mean, I respect anyone who gets a tattoo because I'm just petrified of needles. So
yeah,
but to be inked with a club that you don't live near, it's not your. He's got his West Ham. He's got West Ham tattoos. It's like fucking well. I mean, I haven't got West Ham tattoos. So well play. But yeah, he was just box office, absolute box office. He was mad as a box of frogs, whatever the expression is.
Yeah,
and I think that's why West Ham fans loved him because he was just like this
mirror image of most West Ham.
Yeah, and he's just like we love a nutter. I mean, he was a nutter.
Yeah,
but he had passion. He had the song, and we love a player with a good song.
It's true. It's always true.
like obviously Payet, and
Yeah.
but with Di Canio, but he used. Yeah, there was a story someone told, and I say it's loads of times. Apologies if I keep saying it to everyone who listens, but there's a story that I think Michael Clifford, who the guy I interviewed, you should check. Honestly, he's got so many. I think he's got about 720 odd match worn shirts. It's mental how many match worn shirts. And he was interviewing Paolo. And he was at Chadwell Heath, and he could hear it was raining, and it was a cup game, and he wasn't in the squad, so he was training, and he could hear someone whistling the Paolo Di Canio song for about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, and then out walks Paolo.
Of course he does, yeah.
In the shower, he's come out of the shower, so he had like a towel wrapped around his below half, like bronze, the Donis towel like draped over his shoulders, sing his own fucking song. You know what? It's like but you don't. But you wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise you hearing that story.
Not at all.
He's brilliant.
He's just such a character. Like he's got the Premier League Legends thing on Sky Sports, and you see some of his like fellow pros chatting about him, and they're like, honestly, he's absolutely mental. Like I don't know if you watch Tubes, the soccer, he's about it with Bullard and talking about some of the stories, and you just think, see, I'm pretty ruthless in that dressing room, but what a player. Like I love him. I absolutely loved him.
Oh, he's absolutely mad. Right, okay. PDC is in. Who is the last piece?
Next to him is I'd do anything to have seen these pair play together, but it'd be Tevez.
It'd be Tevez. Yeah, with Payet behind him as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be some formidable front for that. But he's we didn't see the best of him even. I know it sounds ridiculous, and he did keep us up, but I still don't think we saw the best of him. We saw a few months spurts, and right at the end when we needed it in the business end, which obviously ultimately kept us up. But he was just one of the best strikers in the world for so long, and it wasn't like he left West Ham and took a few years to hit the level. He left West Ham and instantly was one of the best in the world, and went on to win Champions Leagues with United and everything. And you just thought, what a player. How did we get him? The excitement of seeing a bloke there who was in the Argentina World Cup squad, who everyone in Europe wanted, yet he was at us. It was just a good moment, another good moment of having someone who really shouldn't be at West Ham, but was there. And what a player.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those. It's funny because I've interviewed lots of. I've been very fortunate to interview lots of the players around that time, and one of the questions I always ask them is like, what was it like? What was it like to turn up at Chadwell Heath and these two Argentinian internationals are here, and every one of them was like, it's just the most bizarre thing. Yeah, it's like you don't assume we're in that because for that sort of, it put us into a new level in terms of our transfer activity, wasn't it? It's like I remember people slapping my back in the office. Yeah, well done, Russ.
Really, yeah, you did it.
I was integral to the negotiation process. Me, Scott Duxbury, and Kia Jacobo, or his name. So. But yeah, it was just, and it's funny because they all come with different stories, and how apparently Mascherano was really wanting to learn the English culture and was having lessons. Tevez didn't want to, but had less
committed to it,
less committed to learning, but he wanted to be involved in the team side, and so he literally would go everywhere with his interpreter. So much so that Anton tells a story where they went to a nightclub up London. And Tevez turned up with his interpreter, and so Tevez is on the dance floor like proper Argentinian tango, sweating profusely. You can imagine him, and the interpreter's on the dance floor like.
It was funny,
trying to
being a wingman. That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Like proper wingman. But yeah, it's But yeah, no, and you're right. I mean, Tevez gave us those, and someone played. Yeah, it was the moment. It was that Tottenham game, wasn't it? Because he was so unlucky. I remember even before he hadn't scored, and everything would hit the bar or would just go past, and then that release of that goal coming in, and I think then, by all accounts, by interviewing some of the players, that really made a massive impression on him because he sort of came out because we saw like Mark Noble crying and realised what it meant to be a West Ham player, and then he just put it up a gear and was just incredible.
And I think he's one of the few ones who will sort of always, even though he's there for such a small period of time, he's always remembered fondly. I don't have a single West Ham fan really who doesn't have anything but love for him, and he's one of the few we've had over the last few years who became a bit of a hero at the time. And it was just he's just one of those.
Even coming back, isn't it, as a player? You know, it's like he brought back the, you know,
Exactly,
really
he
playing for
did,
United. You know what I mean? It's like, you get that. You know, he left in the right way,
yeah,
if you can leave in the right way, but he did. And he's just. I mean, he openly said the other day, wasn't it? It was
yeah,
a few weeks ago that the only team he'd go back into Europe would be for West Ham.
yeah. It's amazing that.
Really? You know, you won the
Exactly.
title at City and probably won something at United and
Champions League,
Juventus and no, you want to come back to. Well, it
my,
won't be Chad Heath. Come Rush Green now. He's gone up
yeah,
in the world, so we don't have to go near the. Won't have to go near the Moby Dick golf place
yeah,
anymore
we
now,
love it.
but on the A12. But yeah. Anyway, Tom, it's been brilliant, mate. It's been
Cheers,
emotional.
mate.
It's been an
Love
emotional journey. So no, thank you so much for your time, man. And obviously, everyone, I know you do anyway, but make sure you subscribe to the West Ham podcast. Keep Will and James and Tom happy by showing them some love. And until the next time, from me and Tom, take care, everyone. Stay safe. That's very important, particularly at the moment. Come on, you irons. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone.